myself. I mean, I have a different perspective on all matters in the sense because first half of my life was an entrepreneur, which I was a founder of 5 companies, which I exited 3, and still I am the founder of one of the largest internet companies in Turkey. Then the second half, I've been an angel investor. I'm the president of the Galata Business Angels, which is the angel network, and I also have a fund that invests in the internet ecosystem, more later stage fund. So I've seen the many aspects of the whole internet business. So what I'll do today very quickly in those 10 minutes, first I'll give you a snapshot of what Turkey is from internet perspective, and following that, I'll do some highlights, what I see, what I observe, which can give you, especially from an investor point of view, what's unique about this market. So, okay, I'll go these 4 or 5 slides very quickly on Turkey. I mean, for those who doesn't know, it's a very large country. It's one of the most population, one of the top 20 highly populated countries. It's a very large economy. It's a growing economy, and on top of it, I mean, especially the last 5 years on, it has become a very investor-friendly economy. So this is the GDP growth. It's a high growth company. These are like the highlights from an internet perspective. I mean, the main uptake from this slide is, it's one of the unique things. It's a very, very young country. That's why, because of this median age, we see lots of new products being used, and that's why we see lots of activity in the social area from Twitter, whatever, Facebook. I mean, Facebook used to be number 2 for a couple of years, till up to last year. So all of this stems from a very young population, so it's very tech-enabled and very prone to changes. Also, infrastructure-wise, for e-commerce level, it's very logistic, it's sold, it's a very high percentage of credit card usage. So when you look at it from this perspective, it's a very, very, how I should call, are ready to be, you know, to go to the next stage of internet on an investor point of view. This basics is a very quick list. This is the Comscore last month, September, actually 2 months ago, September is the latest one. I mean, we have the usual suspects, international, but one of the unique things about Turkey also, I mean, I've seen this probably 5 to 10 countries on a media level. Still, there's a big chunk of local players. Half of the list you'll see are local players, from portals to newspaper outlets. So we have quite a big local players. And when you go to the e-commerce business, which I call more box moving business, you see all local players basically, because it's a very local business. But still, I mean, compared to other countries, we see lots of local players making big in Turkey. I just want to, after this introduction, I just want to dive into the how the ecosystem is from an investor perspective. Weird enough, still the most of the angel investment is done through angels, what we call super angels. The VC activity is very limited. There's some, it's growing, but still dominates the whole market, all more local investors, and most of them angel investors, internet or non-internet related. I mean, I'm also on the board of Endeavor. We made a study, actually. I mean, we'll probably compare to other countries, but I'll give you a very snapshot of what we did. This is basically how the internet ecosystem looked till 1998. I'll just zoom through this. This is up to 2004. This is 2009. And this is 2012. And when you look at these maps, these are the people actually founded companies who invested in the other companies, and all these dots is usually, you know, most of them are angel investors actually who founded companies, invested in other companies. So the whole ecosystem basically boomed on the angel investors, more investing into other angel investors. So, and I mean, still, I mean, because I know all of these VCs and everything, most of them, although, I mean, over 100 already have contacts going around. Still, it's a number less than 25 who actually invested early stage, whatever later stage companies. So the number of investors, US or European, is still limited. It's 20. I gave just a sample of it. You're on it. And we also have some international players. Probably the biggest acquisition was made by email, which was like 5-6 years ago. But there's still a way to go on the VC level, still on the strategic level. Okay, I'll give you a typical investment size. I mean, these figures probably you won't be able to find it because we are very poor on the stats. These are all compiled by actually the investment. When you look at it, the investment total, it is 2012 is below 100. Now it is 2003 will be probably somewhere between 100 to $200 million. Still very, very small compared to the whatever country you pick. And one of the weird thing is actually typical investment angel size is much larger than the US. And major reason is, as I'll tie up to the first slide I showed you, basically most of the angels behave more than the angels. I mean, they end up, for example, doing a couple of rounds, which the usual typical angel investment is they do the first round, then the Series A starts, then you have like small caps, whatever, large cap VCs coming in. But angels have to do, especially on the bootstrap level, has to constantly invest. So their investment size is larger than typical, while the VC investment size is smaller than the typical, I mean, on the median side. Okay, I just want to give some observation I have in the market. Maybe it's make it unique, but also it gives opportunities. There's definitely a demand-supply mismatch. On the early stage, there are many companies looking for investments, while few find them. And on a later stage, especially mid-size, there is a lot of demand. I mean, I've seen, I mean, lots of VCs I know who write a check who are maybe cash positive companies, but they are very hard to come by. There are, I mean, maybe a handful of them. So there's this mismatch, so which makes a more startup hard to access to funding. Thus, I mean, one of the typical cases happens in Turkey. Most companies end up bootstrapping longer than usual. When you see, for example, 6 to 1 year before maybe they get to a second round, these companies has to, you know, bootstrap for, I don't know, 4 years, 3 years, 5 years sometimes. So that's one of the things, especially on a startup level, person has to take into account. So that needs a lot of improvisation and a lot of, you know, funding creativity, I call. Okay, the second thing which I think Turkey has to prove itself is on the exit level. Still, probably except couple, they're very, very limited strategic exits. When I mean strategic, the company's already operating in the internet space, whatever, it can be international, local, coming in. So it usually has been done to intermediaries, VCs, whatever, large, small size. Brick and mortar businesses, local ones, are not active. What I mean that we don't see a traditional outlet, whatever, a store, trying to buy internet properties. Either they start themselves or they wait. So that also lacks the activity. And also there is no stock market listing as of today. So all these, of course, make the exit challenge much bigger. Also, a little bit ties up with what's happening, the limited exposure to VCs. One of the unique things about Turkey, because of its large population and market size, you don't see, actually, it has started to change the last 1-2 years, but you usually see more local focused companies. So, for example, if you're in Finland, maybe in Israel, and because of the size of the market, the first thing as an entrepreneur, what you'll do is try to go global, because your local market is not enough to sustain you. So on that level, because Turkey, what I call sometimes a curse, most products and services are designed to focus in the Turkish market itself. And these companies have to bootstrap for a couple of years. So they end up usually, if they make it big in Turkey, but also gives them a challenge globally, because by the time they start to look outward, it may be too late, somebody else doing it, or there's already a big company outside operating internationally. I don't know, this is the last slide, but this is one of the stories we keep hearing. I want to address to this because it's a great sales pitch from an entrepreneur perspective. I mean, Turkey and Mynet connection, because as soon as you put the Middle East, then it's a double the market. Basically, the Middle East market is equal to the Turkish market in size. Then if you add the North Africa, it's a huge market. So most products, all designed or claim that the market is not actually even Turkey. It's nearly 2-3 times bigger than it is. As of today, I haven't seen from an internet perspective who has made this possible. I mean, I haven't seen that traditionally happen also. We don't see, for example, car manufacturing is big in Turkey, but we don't see any car manufacturers operating in Middle East. Or electronics is big, but we don't. So even in the traditional businesses, this has not been proved itself. So in that sense, still, I honestly, personally don't buy this story too much. Maybe we don't have time. I can go into details in Q&As. But I think these Mynet and Turkey will stay as separate. Maybe you may have a headquarters here operating the companies there, but I don't think one entity will do equally in both countries.
That's it.
Okay, right on time.
Excellent. Perfect. Thank you. Thanks very much.